afternoon, everybody. Happy Monday, December 18th, 2023. My name is Kevin Smith. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Loud Majority Live. We got a big show for you guys today. Well, Ron Desantis continues to drop in the polls. He's losing his top strategist as his world comes crumbling down. Also, Donald Trump takes a nearly 70-point lead in the Republican primary. The game is over. Let's stop pretending it's not. Let's stop pretending it's not. Let's get rid of the clown show. Everyone else drop out of the race. Let's go get behind our candidate for the good of the party, as the idiots like to say. Also, Vivek Ramaswamy has some interesting words for Van Jones at the Turning Point USA AmeriFest conference. I didn't get to go this year. Very upsetting about that. Very, very upset. I go every year. It's always a good time. So that was a bit of a letdown for me personally. But such is life. Such is life, as they say. So we're going to get rocking and rolling here. And look, at the end of the show today, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about all the butt stuff going on. We're going to talk about all of the butt stuff happening in, because Charlie Kirk actually had some very interesting points about what our enemies think about when they see this sort of stuff. And I think he really hits the nail on the head. So we're going to get to all of that real quick. Guys, make sure you're hitting the thumbs up button. Share this video out all over the place. If you're new to the channel, hit the follow button. We had big numbers on Jeremy Harrell's show just before this one. So let's see what we can top. You guys know if we hit the 500 Rumble mark live, I have to put on a Santa costume. And you guys are running out of days. You guys are running out of days to make that happen. So let's see if we can do it. Rocking and rolling and rocking here. Here, also, for those of you who don't know, Jeremy's mom's going through some stuff right now. Jeremy, we're praying for you. We're praying for your mom, brother. Let's hope she gets better. Nothing worse than illness in the family. So, Jeremy, we're with you, brother. Hope all goes well there. Once again, hit the thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. Let's dive right into it. Yeah. So, in a new poll, Donald Trump dominance hits a new level with a nearly 70% support in the GOP primary. Now, you're going to hear from a lot of people that both candidates are not very popular. And the reason why they're using that is because they're using polling data that polls everybody that says the candidates aren't very popular. The difference is that Donald Trump is incredibly popular in the Republican Party, as we can see. The man hasn't debated, basically has not even acknowledged the people running against him, and still holds a commanding lead in the Republican Party. The Republican is the clear favorite among GOP voters, with his support having grown by a whopping 26% since February. Fewer than 1/3 of Republican voters are backing all of Trump's rivals combined, with 12% going to Ron DeSantis, 9% going to Nikki Haley, 5% for Vivek, 2% for Chris Christie, and just 1% for Asa Hutchinson. Who are those 3% of people? Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this, and I really mean this, if you're watching this and you know somebody who supports Chris Christie or Asa Hutchinson in this race, I need you to tell them to reach out to me. I will give them 1 full hour on this show to explain to me what I'm missing here. Because, look, I understand Nikki Haley voters. I understand Ron DeSantis voters. I understand Vivek Ramaswamy voters. I do not understand the people that are going for Chris Christie and Asa Hutchinson, really? I mean, the 1%, did they poll his family? Is that where they got the 1% from? Where are these people? I have yet to see them. And I don't want to see Chris Christie claiming that the videos of the 18 people that show up to his rallies in New Hampshire constitute voter support. Because there are a lot of people in the state of New Hampshire who go to all the events. Doesn't mean they support you. Does not mean they support you. Trump is also doing well in a hypothetical general matchup against Joe Biden, with him beating him by 4% among the survey voters. The figures are consistent with other national polls. The latest Reuters Ipsos survey found Trump beating Biden by 2 points, and a recent Harvard-Harris poll gave him a 7-point lead. However, Fox found that Nikki Haley is slightly ahead of Trump in general election polling hypotheticals, beating Biden by 6 points. Well, look, let's be honest here. Most of those voters are going to come around the mountain once we get to a general election anyway. Biden and DeSantis are in a statistical tie, the Fox News poll found. As recently as August, Biden was narrowly ahead of them by 3 points. And if you need any more proof of just how well things are going for President Joe Biden, when he was asked about why his poll numbers are so bad, immediately there was a car crash.
Mr. President, why are you losing to Trump in the polls?
Wow. Kind of on the nose. It's almost like when somebody asks God for help and then gets struck by lightning. Not go. Also, by the way, Secret Service, well done. Took you like 15 seconds to get the old man in the car. I don't know. That seemed kind of odd to me. Seemed a little bit odd to me. Donald Trump still with the commanding lead. The poll was conducted over 3 days by Beacon Research for Fox News with a 3% margin of error. So, it's a fairly large sample size. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Of course, this comes on the heels of CBS claiming, this is my favorite. I love when and we're going to get to a media story later on in the show that'll just show you the absurd bias in it. And yes, it has to do with the butt stuff. Because, let's be honest, there's not a chance I'm not talking about the assurrection. I mean the insurrection. I mean the Senate stuff. I got to talk about it because it's just funny. It's just funny to me. CBS poll says that Nikki Haley is gaining on Trump in New Hampshire while he continues to dominate in Iowa. So, wow, Nikki Haley is gaining on President Trump. Wow, that's pretty significant. She's gaining on President Trump, according to CBS. Yeah, not really. She's still behind by 15 points. Still behind by 15 points. Not even close. Ron DeSantis polling 1% ahead of Chris Christie, a man who has absolutely no support, no real support at all. And there it is, Asa Hutchinson with his 1% support in the polls because they polled his family. Of course, the lead in Iowa is even worse for the DeSantis Nikki Haley camp, as Donald Trump has had a 35-point lead in Iowa. These polls continue to get worse, and they have a whole slew of different measures here. Described as prepared for President, Donald Trump leads. Likable. That's pretty funny. I don't know what likability has to do with anything. I care about who gets the job done. Reasonable. I don't want a reasonable president. I want an unreasonable president. CBS doing everything they possibly can to push Nikki Haley on the voters. Described as a strong leader. Boom, Donald Trump blows it away. That's what matters. The top candidate, 51%. More than a plurality. Let's keep going down this. I don't know why anyone would poll this. Haley versus Chris Christie. Maybe because they were getting a little bit chummy at the last debate. They're doing everything they possibly can. Everything they possibly can to push Nikki Haley and Chris Christie over the finish line, and they're just not getting it. This was an interesting poll, considering Chris Christie came out against it. Ban medical procedures changing a child's gender. Almost everyone in Iowa, and even slightly less, banning gender orientation discussions in schools. This is a big thing. And the fact of the matter is, many people like Nikki Haley and Chris Christie are just not on the right side of this thing. I will say Governor Desantis is on the right side of it. And now we get to the one that's going to really dictate the Republican Party moving forward. And the longer people talk about this, the worse it's going to be for Republicans. Here it is, abortion. New Hampshire is a key state. And I want to make it very clear. I've said it numerous times on this show, and I'll keep saying it. If New Hampshire is able to flip to Republican, that opens up the entire map for Republicans moving forward. That makes Nevada less important. That changes the entire map. If abortion is at the top of the ticket, Republicans will lose, with 57% saying that it should be legal in all or most cases. Now, look, I am pro-life. I am unapologetically pro-life. I will remain pro-life forever. I think killing a child inside of the womb is nothing short of murder. However, I am fully aware that when it comes to the majority of American people, we are on different sides of this. The majority of Americans do not agree with me. Many of them don't agree with you. And it is up to the Republican Party to show moderation on this if they are to win. Now, look, some people aren't going to like that. That's okay. That's okay. When it comes to deporting millions of undocumented immigrants, spoiler alert, likely GOP voters, most all of them say yes. They should be deporting them. The polls continue to play in Donald Trump's favor. He's long been a moderate. He's long been a moderate when it comes to abortion, and he's long been a hawk when it comes to immigration. Here's another one. Likely GOP voters, only Trump. 30% now, up from 20. Trump and other candidates, 45%. It's time for the rest of the GOP to get on board. And it's going to be fun to watch because as we get through this primary process, let's just say by some miracle, by some catastrophic moment, that Donald Trump doesn't win one of these primaries. You're going to see the Never Trumpers out in full force saying he can't win, he can't do this. They're going to try to make their last-ditch name for themselves. But I want to know what people like Bill Mitchell, Jenna Ellis, and Christina Pushaw are going to do when all the votes get tallied and we get to the convention and Donald Trump is the out-and-out favorite, because I've long said that this race will be over by Super Tuesday. It just will be. Donald Trump will have the nomination locked up. It's also important to note, as we've seen in other instances, the Iowa caucuses tend not to, and I love the state of Iowa. I assume I would. I've never been there, but I assume I'll be there a lot in the coming weeks and months. The state of Iowa in the caucuses are never really a good projector on who's going to win the presidency. I believe in 2016, I think Ted Cruz won it. In 2016. In 2020, I know that Joe Biden didn't win it. He didn't win New Hampshire either. However, once we start to see the momentum rolling, I think that people are going to be pleasantly surprised about what happens when it comes to the primary process. And I think Ron DeSantis will be long out of the race before Super Tuesday. And you can tell how quickly he's going to be out of the race by how many people are jumping ship on him, which we're going to get to in 1 minute. Before we do that, guys, head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for my newsletter. Check out our shop. Guys, that's the best way to support this show and everything we've got going on over here. Let's pop this bad boy up there. Check out the shop. Use promo code LFA to get 20% off everything on the website. You can get those awesome Raised Right t-shirts. We've got them for adults. We've got them for kids. We've got them for babies. Go pick those up now at loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. Use promo code LFA to get 20% off everything on the website. That's promo code LFA to get 20% off everything on the website. Let's keep rocking and rolling here, guys. Hit that thumbs up button. Keep sharing this video out all over the place. Do we have anybody new in the chat today? You guys know I love seeing all the new people in the chat. Anybody new today? 800 people watching, 230 rumbles. What are we at, 230? Remember, guys, if we get to 500 rumbles, I have to put on a Santa Claus costume, and I don't want to do that. I absolutely do not want to do that. So help me do something I don't want to do. By rumbling this video, that's that thumbs up button at the bottom of the screen. Hit it right now. Let's go. Giddy up. How is everybody doing today? Did everybody have a... did everybody have a good weekend? If you're up here in the Northeast, I hope everybody made it through the insane storm we had last night. I think it's still raining outside. I don't think it's ever going to stop raining, but I hope nobody lost power. And tired 2023. Hello. Lynn from Michigan. Hello, how are you? Welcome to the party here. I hope everybody's doing well. Dina, how are you? Hope you guys are doing well. Wow, it is really raining outside. I can hear it on the roof. Still raining on the... Oh, yeah, it's still raining on the North Shore. So I hope everybody is doing good. I hope everybody's doing well. So Ron DeSantis loses his top PAC strategist as people continue to jump ship on the DeSantis train. Now, look, I don't blame them for jumping ship, like rats off of a sinking ship. They are running like mad. The Iowa caucuses are less than a month away, and people are fleeing the DeSantis campaign, this from the Post-Millennial, in droves. They can't seem to hold on to anybody over there. On Saturday, a key strategist for Ron DeSantis has never backed down. Super PAC became the latest member to resign from their position in the presidential campaign with less than a month to go before the Iowa caucuses. In a post on X, Jeff Rowe said, "I can't believe it ended this way." He added, "I'm so proud to have worked alongside these men and women for the past 9 months to help save our country. Good luck the next 28 days and a wake-up. 28 days and a wake-up. I'm so sorry I can't be there with you." Rowe's resignation comes after the Washington Post reported that statements from the Super PAC seemed to suggest it had fired officials connected to Rowe over mismanagement and conduct issues. Oh, boy, we're going to get to some conduct issues a little bit later on. In Rowe's resignation post, he said, "I cannot, in good conscience, stay affiliated with the Never Back Down given the statements by the Washington Post today." Rowe continued, "They are not true and an unwanted distraction at a critical time for Governor DeSantis." Well, if they were untrue, then why are you running away? Jeff Rowe? It turns out you're running away because you know damn well this campaign is sinking. You've been seeing that face a hell of a lot more than you've been seeing good faces pop up. Nikki Haley seems to be surging ahead of you, taking all your never Trump support. If I were you, I would jump ship too. The DeSantis campaign communications director, Andrew Romeo, said, "We're not going to be distracted by false narratives coming from unknown sources with harmful agendas. And we appreciate the independent efforts of our outside partners at the Never Back Down PAC, as they are building a historic ground game for the fight ahead." Yeah, well, I don't know about that. Chris Janikowski resigned, the Never Back Down CEO, saying in late November he resigned, saying he believed it was undeniable to deliver on the PAC's promise to get DeSantis elected. The Post noted that 4 other senior officials also departed the Super PAC in November. 3 officials from Rowe's firm were fired. He's not doing well. Things are not going well for the Ron DeSantis campaign. And why would they? Why would one think that things are going well for him? I mean, when he jumped into the race, he was neck and neck with Trump, according to many of the polls. I never really thought that was true. I think he got a huge bump in the polls from jumping in, as everyone tends to do. But now we see Donald Trump taking a nearly 70-point lead in a Fox News poll, even after Fox News did their damnedest to do everything they possibly could to push Ron DeSantis. The DeSantis campaign continues to struggle. It continues to struggle, and it's a shame. It's a shame because the people of Florida currently don't have anyone representing them, and I think that they should. And it's a shame for the people of Florida. Absolutely. Guys, hit that thumbs up button as we are rocking and rolling here. Rocking and rolling here, 23 past the hour. Here on a very wet Long Island. In just 1 second, we are going to get to Vivek Ramaswamy having some fun with Van Jones, one of the biggest frauds on planet Earth, as we discussed last week. Before we get to that, Mike Lindell.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest Christmas sale ever. You get our brand new 6-piece My Towels for only $29.98. Or rejuvenate your bed with a MyPillow mattress topper as low as $99.99. Or how about MyPillow bed sheets for as low as $24.98? There's something for everyone. Duvets, quilts, down comforters, body pillows, bolster pillows, and so much more. Well, I know MyPillow products make for the perfect Christmas gifts, so I'm going to extend my money-back guarantee until March 1st, 2024. So go to MyPillow.com now or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get huge discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you get our 6-piece towels for only $29.98. Or get your very own MyPillow bed sheets for as low as $24.98. It's our biggest Christmas sale ever. Get all your shopping done now while quantities last.
Guys, head on over to MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD for up to 80% off everything on the website. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. Please support the people who support this show and the great Mike Lindell. And the great Mike Lindell, who's always supporting great patriots like you and I. So, Vivek Ramaswamy had some choice words for leftist CNN host Van Jones. To remind everybody, here's what Van Jones had to say about Vivek Ramaswamy in the past couple of weeks.
And the smug, condescending way that he just spews this poison out is very, very dangerous because he won't stop Trump, but he's going to outlive Trump by about 50 years. And you're watching the rise of an American demagogue that is a very, very despicable person. Yeah. And I was shaking listening to him talk because a lot of people don't know that is one step away from Nazi propaganda coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, but the good thing, Van, you can.
So Vivek decided to fire back at Van Jones. And you know what? I've long said it. I'm not saying you got to like Vivek Ramaswamy. Some people don't trust him. They think he's an Obama plan. I happen not to think any of that, but that's not really the point. The point is the guy is entertaining. And in a world based in social media, television, everything being recorded, everything being put out there, the guy is nothing short of entertaining. Here was his response.
We demand a government that tells us the truth again in this country. That's what we require. We can handle the truth. That's what it means to be a citizen of this country. So I say that on that last debate stage to a bunch of Republicans that are shaking in their boots. These are the things you're not supposed to say in the Republican Party even today. And then you get the mainstream media. You got this character Van Jones on CNN afterwards saying, this is the rise of an American demagogue who's going to live 50 years longer than Trump. This is dangerous. I am shaking. That's what he says. Just shut the fuck up. At a certain point, just shut the fuck up. Van Jones at CNN. We're done with it.
I mean, look, some people don't like the language, which I understand. Some people, don't like his basic manner. But in a world of social media, in a world where things have to be entertaining, he certainly gets people going. And you know what? I think more he seems, despite having millions and millions of dollars, seems like somebody I'd like to have a conversation with. I'm doing my best to try to get him on the show because I actually do have a whole bunch of questions that I do want to ask him. But it is interesting to see how a guy like Vivek, who, look, he's got a lot working against him running for president, but he seems to be pulling in a lot of the support from younger people. I know his campaign staff is very young. A lot of the volunteers I know for him are very young. He's sort of tapping into that sort of I don't know what that sort of Ron Paul 2012 sort of vibe that's never going to break single digits, but is keeping him around just long enough to be entertaining. So Vivek had some choice words for Van Jones, and look, I like it. I don't like Van Jones, and I think it's going to be incredibly interesting. So Vivek Ramaswamy, this from the Gateway Pundit, goes off on Van Jones after the leftists whined about him. As the Gateway Pundit previously reported, Ramaswamy stated a series of uncomfortable truths during the last GOP debate. Look, he's the only one out here talking about the great replacement theory. He went off on Van Jones with some colorful language that tends to have brought down the House. We need to demand that the government tells the truth in this country. That is what we require. We can handle the truth. That doesn't mean... that is what it means to be a citizen in the United States. And then he went off telling Van Jones to go fuck himself, which, is pretty funny. It's pretty funny in the very least. So hopefully more people start to talk about this than otherwise have been doing before. People try to say that things like the Great Replacement Theory are anti-Semitic, which they're not. Just because some idiot leftist wants to tell you that it is doesn't mean it is. As the great Ricky Gervais loves to say, just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right. Doesn't mean you're right. So just because a person says something doesn't necessarily make it true. Doesn't necessarily make it true. So that's important to remember. So, Vivek, thank you for entertaining all of the children and all the kids over at Turning Point. I'm so mad I wasn't there this year. I'm definitely... Was anybody in the chat at Turning Point this year? Did anybody in the chat go this year? I'm curious. Did anyone go to AmFest? If you haven't been, I think everybody should go. I think that everyone should go. I think it's a good time. Let's pop that Rumble chat up there as we keep moving and grooving. As we keep on moving and grooving here. Guys, we're going to talk about the Biden impeachment because a Republican senator, has an interesting take on how Democrats feel, while Lindsey Graham, of course, says the wrong thing because Lindsey Graham is a little too busy in the Senate chamber. But before we get to that, guys, head on over to 4patriots.com. That's the number 4patriots.com. Make sure you use promo code LFA while you are over there. If you have any camping enthusiasts or people who do the outdoor stuff in your family, then 4Patriots is the perfect place for you to go to get a gift for them, from solar-powered lanterns to everything that you're going to need for going camping or to set up your camper. Head on over to 4patriots.com. That's the number 4patriots.com. Support the people who support this show by using promo code LFA to get 10% off everything on the website. That's promo code LFA to get 10% off everything on the website. Also, guys, while you're there, pick up a 3-day or 7-day emergency food supply kit. It's like a fire extinguisher, guys. It's not something you want to not have when you need it the most. And if you live here in the Northeast, you very well may have lost power this weekend. Do not let your food go bad. Do not let your food go bad by picking up the Patriot Power Generator, which you can run inside. That will run your fridge. God forbid you lose power, because this bad boy is solar powered. This thing is solar powered. So, head on over to 4patriots.com. That's the number 4patriots.com.
I'm excited
Why
to
does that
announce.
keep happening? Why? Every time I hit that, does Mike Lindell pop up? Hit the thumbs up button. Oh, we're getting close. 300, guys. Let's go. Thumbs up button. Rocking and rolling and rocking. So, apparently, there are 5 Democrats in the Senate that would support a Joe Biden impeachment. This week, the House voted to formally approve an impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden as part of the months-long probe that led the GOP claiming he used his political power to make his family billions through shady business deals. While speaking to Newsmax's TV Wake Up America, Rob Finnerty, Senator Mark Wayne Mullen said 5 Democrats are willing to look into the impeachment case against Joe Biden. Mullins insisted that the Senate covers both Republican and Democrat fairly. He said, if the, quote, House sends us an airtight case and it is complete and it easily points to the president breaking the law in treason, misdemeanor, high crime, that they would likely that they would try it just like they would any other case. So I hate when people talk like this and go into it without a partisan look, but with a criminal look. Mullen said that he believes there are several Democrats who told him privately that they would vote for the impeachment against Biden should the opportunity arise. Now, I don't know which ones those are. I don't. I'm going to take a guess. I'm going to take a guess at which 5 they are. I'm going to guess Kristen Sinema in Arizona. I'm going to guess Maggie Hassan in New Hampshire. I'm going to guess Bob Casey in Pennsylvania. I'm going to guess outgoing senator in Ohio, whose name I can't remember right now. Portman? Rob Portman? And I can't think of who the 5th would be. Those are the ones I'm picking. Joe Manchin, number 5. Now, why would they do that? As we've talked about numerous times on this show, I believe many of those states are up for grabs. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, Country Roads, Take Me Home. We're going to win that one. Could it be John Tester in Montana, who is facing a re-election bid in Montana, a state that swung very heavily for Donald Trump? Kirsten Sinema needs to sort of clear out her own lane in a three-way general election in Arizona against I believe it's Gallegos and Kerry Lake. She's got to clear out her own path to victory there. Joe Manchin, that'll be his parting gift for the Democrats talking shit about him for the last couple of years. However, there's one senator that he just doesn't see it. He just doesn't see it. And, of course, that would be Lady Macbeth himself, Lindsey Graham. He was on CBS this morning, and he doesn't know. He doesn't know.
Okay, let's turn to the other big story on Capitol Hill, the impeachment, of course, of impeachment inquiry into President Biden. Your colleague, Republican Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa, said that he does not see any evidence, quote, that the president is guilty of anything. Do you agree with him? Is there any evidence so far?
You know, I haven't really been paying that much attention to it. They have to prove that President Biden somehow financially benefited from the business enterprises of Hunter Biden. We'll see.
Have they done it yet, in your mind?
If there were a smoking gun, I think we'd be talking about it. But
Firstly, I just have to say, it's really nice to know that Lindsey Graham's just not paying attention to this. Well, what else are you? Oh, that's right. I know what you're doing, Lindsey. You're trying to find another third world country to bomb. What else could Lindsey Graham be paying attention to right now other than buttholes than the impeachment of Joe Biden? I'm going to tell you why he's not. Because they were both in the Senate for 2,000 years, and they're probably best friends. They probably worked very well together, bipartisan, across the aisle crap. They both plan on funding the military-industrial complex into absolution. Lindsey Graham also reveals that he's more concerned now with events in the Middle East than he is with the impeachment of Joe Biden. Lindsey Graham believes that the narrative being presented about Hunter Biden in response to the impeachment inquiry against Joe Biden is falling apart. On NBC's Meet the Press, Lindsey Graham said Hunter Biden's narrative that his father knew nothing about his business dealings had begun to unravel in the light of day. The idea that Joe Biden knew nothing about the business dealings is falling apart, which we've already known. However, Lindsey Graham also conceded that the impeachment inquiry has a tall order ahead of it and is actually proving the accusations against the president. He believes if there is any evidence showing the president had committed crimes he is accused of, it would already be public knowledge. It is already public knowledge. Just haven't found the right woman yet. Which, hey, not that there's anything wrong with that, to quote Jerry Seinfeld. He said, quote, if there was a smoking gun, I think we'd know about it. House Republicans released a 14-page measure to formally formalize the impeachment inquiry of Joe Biden, which then passed the House 121 to 112. The action gives more power to the probe to investigate the actions of the presidency. And look, it's going to suck because the fact of the matter is we're going to be sitting on this for quite some time. As we know, the House is out of session for at least another 6 weeks. That's nice. Do you get 6 weeks off in your job? I know I certainly don't. But, hey, look, if you want that much time off, If you want that much time off, just run for the House of Representatives. Jess, don't worry. Jess Heat in the chat. We're going to get to that in a minute. We're going to get to that in a minute because there's absolutely no way a Democratic Senate staffer was going to have butt sex in the Senate chamber, and I wasn't going to talk about it. There's absolutely no way. I've got so much fun stuff on it. Let's see. You know what? While we get to that story, guys, do me a favor in the chat, if you would. Who's got the best pun? Who's got the best pun for what happened? There's been a lot of funny comments made. There's been a lot of memes. Here was my favorite meme so far. That was a good one. So far. Let's pop that in the middle here. That was pretty funny. Riding with Biden, obviously. There's been a lot of fun stuff, and we're going to talk about all that in a second. Kevin, I think we will lose the House before the 2024 election. Yes, that is possible. That is absolutely possible. We've gone from cornhole. You know what? Guys, put up your favorite comments in here, and I'm just going to leave that up on the screen so everyone else can see it, because I'm sure you guys are going to come up with some stuff that I'm not going to want to say on air. So I'll just let you all read it yourselves because, you guys are already starting, and I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. It's going to be funny as hell. Before we move on to that, guys, head on over to lfatv.us. That's lfatv.us. Jeremy Herald's having a huge blowout sale. Make sure you get your Rapture Ready t-shirts. They're over there. That's the best way to support this network and everything we've got going on. The best way to support us is by going to lfatv.us, picking up some LFATV merch. Pick up your Rise Up coffee. Pick up your Rise Up coffee and consider becoming a monthly donor over at lfatv.us. That's lfatv.us. Guys, it's the best way to support. That's the best way to support everything we've got going on over here. So now
let's turn to the other big story on Capitol Hill.
Let's pop him off the screen. Speaking of gay. Speaking of gay, I'm not going to play the video. I'm not going to do it. So if you're all looking to see that freaky stuff on this show, I'm not going to do that. But we are going to talk about it because I want to talk about the way the media covers things like this. The way the media covers the insurrection. Everyone saw the video. If not, it's on the Daily Caller website. It's on the Daily Caller website. Feel free to go watch it for yourself. It's about 12 seconds long, so it turns out the guy can't even last all that long. This is the way the media decided to cover that. Look at this headline from NBC. Senate staffer alleged by conservative outlet to have sex in a hearing room is no longer employed. Conservative news outlet alleged that the aide to Senator Ben Cardin, of a Democrat of Maryland, appeared in a leaked video showing men having sex in the Senate hearing room. Now, just look at that title. Alleged by conservative outlet. There's a video of it happening. He admitted to it happening, yet conservatives allege. We're just making this stuff up. The guy admitted to doing it. And the wording of this article is absolutely absurd. Senator Ben Cardin's office has parted ways with the staffer who conservative news outlets alleged was shown in a leaked video having sex in the Senate hearing room. Aiden Mazie, whatever his name is no longer employed by the U.S. Senate, the Maryland Democrats' office said in a statement to NBC News. On Friday, the Daily Caller, a conservative news outlet, published what it says is a video showing the congressional staffer having sex with an unknown man in the Senate hearing room. It added that the video was shared in a private group for gay men in politics. Now, I want to make this very, 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 very clear because a lot of left-wing outlets have been harping on this. They're only going after him because he's gay. No. If two straight people were having sex in the Senate hearing room, they ought to be fired. And just like this guy, they ought to be charged with a crime. They ought to be charged with a crime. I tell you what, this is a hell of a lot worse than what 99% of the people did on January 6th. Here was the statement that was given by the participant, what would you say? The catcher in this scenario. Watch him play the narcissist poor me card. This has been a difficult time for me, as I have been attacked for who I love to pursue a political agenda. While some of my actions in the past have shown poor judgment, I love my job and would never disrespect the workplace. Any attempts to characterize my actions otherwise are fabricated, and I will be exploring all legal options that are available to me in these matters. As for the accusation regarding Congressman Max Miller, I have never seen the congressman, nor had no opportunity or cause to yell or confront him. I'm not sure what that last part is about. But just look at what he did here. He thinks that we're going after him because he's a flambe. We're not. I don't care who you sleep with. I don't. Unless you're sleeping with me, I don't care. I don't care about the Florida GOP rep that was having threesomes. I don't care about any of it. If you're two members of Congress and you're both having an affair with each other, I don't care. I don't care. I think all that shit is just a distraction from the bigger problems we have in this country. I've long said that. You're not going to get sex scandals from me on this show. I don't care. However, I think if you're having sex in the Senate chamber, you ought to be charged with a crime. Why? Because if people want to pretend that this is such an august area, it is so profound, and you decide to desecrate the Senate hearing room with that sort of crap, that's the place where they vote on whether or not to go to war. That's the place where they go to actually do real work. And the brazenness of it. And as I said, if you're having straight sex in the room, you ought to be fired. If it was a male staffer and a female staffer, if it was two lesbians, you ought to be fired and you ought to be charged. Why do I say that? Charlie Kirk was on Patrick Bet-David's show at Turning Point USA MFest. This clip's about 3 minutes long, but I think Charlie brings up a lot of great points here about how the world sees America after this, how the world sees America, and what sort of propaganda this does to our enemies around the world. Before we get to that, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Share this video out all over the place. Let's pop that live chat on the screen, since I know damn well you guys are talking about butt stuff in the chat. How's everybody? 930 people watching. What are we at? 314 rumbles. We can do better than that. Could today be the day that we make it to 500? Could today be the day that we make it to that? Before we keep moving and grooving here, guys, I want to talk to you guys about my friends over at OFP Farms, guys. OFP Farms is a family-owned company. They support great patriots like the ones here on LFA TV. Guys, please go to ofpfarms.com because they make holiday shopping nice and easy. Why get stuck in crazy lines, wrestling with traffic, and fighting for parking when you can shop from the comfort of your armchair? Curl up by the fire with some hot cocoa and let OFP Farms handle the rest. Their online store is stocked full of a wide variety of luxurious bath products, from all natural pain relief to Christmas gift sets, chock full of goodies. And if you're looking for stuff for the kids, well, they have a whole bunch of plush stuffed animals that your kids are absolutely going to love. If you're shopping for a coworker, they have so many different kinds of hand creams and lotions and salves that'll help those dry working hands get nice and smooth. Plus, with their fast, reliable shipping, your gifts will arrive in plenty of time for the holidays. So why stress over holiday shopping when you can let OFP Farms take care of it for you? Start shopping their collection today, guys. Use LFA20 to get 20% off everything on the website. That's OFP Farms. Go to ofpfarms.com. Use promo code LFA20. Get it now, quickly, like right after the show, so that you'll have time. so that you'll have time to get it before the holidays. Alrighty, so as I said, Charlie Kirk made some phenomenal points when it came to how our enemies look at this sort of debauchery going on all over the place. And I think it's something that people really need to listen in on. Here was Charlie Kirk talking about how Putin and Xi view what's happening in America.
Anyway, the point is this is a pattern, okay? The degeneracy, the depravity.
Let me ask you a question, Charlie. How does the enemy process this? So let's just say Xi, China, Iran, Russia looks at us.
That's a really good question.
What do you think they say? What does the enemy see?
So we know it. I mean, if you read Putin's speeches, again, I'm not like a big Putin fan, but you should know he uses it as an internal rallying cry to consolidate power. And this is something that we need to talk. I said this all along, that the subtext of the Ukraine war is like gay agenda versus traditionalism. Again, if you read the actual Russian Federation speeches, Putin says they're transing their kids and they're chemically castrating. Again, I'm not a fan of Russia. It's not a free society. It's not an ideal society. But it's true that the trans thing is pushed by NATO. It's pushed by our intel agencies. The pride flag is shown prominently by our government. And if you actually read deeper, the spokesperson for Zelensky was a trans person for the last 2 years. So in some ways, Russia uses this as an excuse to say, hey, people of Russia, I guarantee you, and by the way, they're going to show this like nonstop. If you watch RT, which I don't, if you watch any of these Russian television stuff, I guarantee you they're going to say, see, look at the Americans. This is why we have to reject the West. You have to understand, the narrative going on in the East is that America is the leader of modernity, and modernity gets you the following. Gets you live stream gay sex in your capital. It gets you lots of suicide. It gets you a lot of depravity. It gets you lower birth rates. It gets you pornography. It gets you transgending of kids. Some of that is true. Some of it's an exaggeration. But what do our enemies? The easy answer is that they're laughing at us. No. You just gave Vladimir Putin a gift where he is now going to give a speech and say, by the way, the people financing this war against you, where you people of Russia, where they took the vote, at night, they are live streaming gay sex. That's what this war is all about. Yeah. It is the internal rallying cry of the Kremlin.
And by the way, it's such an easy argument to make fun of the enemy. It's like, look at these clowns over there in America. Easy. There was once a great...
It's not a mockery, though. They use it as fear. The people of Russia, actually, they don't laugh at it. They're like, yes, Putin, stay in power, because we don't want that here. And so laughter, yes, but it's more like they use it as this is coming. When they hear Lindsey Graham say, we're going to come after, this is a war of offense. Lindsey Graham, Amy Klobuchar, Ukraine, war of offense a couple years ago. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Patrick, but what I'm getting at is the mockery by some, but the rank and file people of the mainland of Russia are terrified that the overtly aggressive gay agenda is going to come into Russia. And this certainly helps the argument. Look right there. The Saren Ashton Cirillo is a person born a man who became a woman, who thinks they're a woman, who was the spokesperson of the Ukrainian armed forces. The true conflict unfolding in Ukraine is the trans agenda, the excesses of modernity, and traditionalism. That doesn't mean I'm on the side of Putin. That doesn't mean I'm on the side of the Russian Federation. But you have to understand, that is what is rallying Russians domestically.
I fully...
And look, whatever you may think, I mean, some people don't like Charlie Kirk. I'm a fan. I like what Turning Point Action is doing over there. I think they're doing great work to help get people registered to vote and do a whole bunch of other things. First off, another big shout out, Scott Pressler. He was in Philadelphia yesterday, over the weekend, registering voters at a gun show. I was supposed to make it down there and help him out. I didn't get to make it down because of the storm and a few other things. But I think Charlie Kirk makes a great point. I think he makes an absolutely great point. Russia is sitting there garnering support by saying these are the people that are funding the Ukrainians. The people who allow their staffers to get plowed in the holes of their chamber. You think that stuff goes on in Russia? You think that goes on in China? You think that goes on anywhere? And I got news for you. I don't care what dynasty, what empire you want to look at, whether it's the Romans or the Greeks, the Mesopotamians, the Chinese, right the way through. The minute they started to get ambiguous and lackluster on sexual debauchery is the minute that their empire crumbled. That's always the first step. And we should not be allowing this sort of crap. We should not be allowing this sort of crap to happen. And like I said, you wanna be gay, you wanna sing a song, do a dance, I got no problem with that. Have a good time. But to the lack of respect for the institution, for your workplace. If you get caught having sex in your office, you should be fired. Like George Costanza. Even George Costanza got fired for having sex on the desk in his office with the cleaning woman. It wasn't because he was gay. It was because you don't have sex where you work. You don't shit where you eat. You don't bang where you work. That's just the way things go. Go in a bathroom, bro, like normal people, like trying to be edgy and not getting caught. Moreover, no one, and everyone here knows this, as we cross the 1,000-person mark on the show, giddy up, hit the thumbs up button at the bottom of the screen. Thumbs up, let's go. Everyone knows this. No one gets caught doing anything the first time they do it. That's just a rule. Doesn't matter what it is. Whether you were a kid and whether you're a teenager and you came home drunk, whether you, maybe you were smoking weed or whatever. No one gets caught doing anything the first time, which means this definitely wasn't the first time this guy at work. It just shows the lack of respect. He should be arrested. Absolutely. And I want to make it clear, not arrested for the gay. As I've said it numerous times. But do what you want, man. Whatever blows your hair back. I really don't care. But a precedent has to be set. And a lot of idiots are comparing what this guy did to what Congresswoman Lauren Boebert did in a theater. I'm sorry, it's just not the same thing. It's just not the same thing. First off, they had the clothes on. That's number one. Second off, it wasn't at work. That's number two. They didn't film it to show the arrogance of them not caring about what they were doing. It's completely different. Completely and 100% different. And anyone who wants to claim otherwise is just a flat-out liar. Is just a flat-out liar. So this guy has been fired for, I've tried to keep it clean this whole time for, for getting plowed out at work. There's no way to say it. First off, who brings a GoPro? Like, the guy was wearing a head-mounted GoPro so he could film it. And in the video, the guy actually looks over at, like, the what the hell would you call it? The thing on the wall that says Senate hearing room, which just shows you how little care they actually have for this. I'm sorry, it's just different. It's just different. We got a couple minutes left, guys. Hit the thumbs up button. What is that? 1,036 people watching. Close to an all-time high for the show. Here was Charlie Kirk talking more about the insurrection that went on in the Senate.
Let's do this. Let's say,
but yes, to answer your question, would be wrong.
Let's say a Trump was president today and that happened.
Well, he doesn't control Congress, but yeah.
But what do you think? What would you think his first reaction would be if that were to happen? What would he say? What would
I would live for that tweet.
Oh my God!
I don't even want. I mean, I would just. It would be Michelangelo material. It would be something that we remember 600 years from now, and we display in the streets of Florence. And we say, you remember when Donald Trump reacted to the gay sex film in Senate?
No, it would be a wing of the Smithsonian with just
exactly. I don't even want to guess. I don't even want to guess what it would be.
And mind you, guys,
he would tweet something like, here things are happening in the Senate right now. He would do something like that.
And mind you, guys,
demonic Democrats having anal sex.
Pat, he was just fired.
Again.
He was fired. He hasn't been charged or anything.
He
should be.
He will.
No. He's a Democrat. He'll be fine. Trust me. He got fired because they have to fire him.
Let's see what happens.
What he did is worse than what 99% of the people on January 6th did.
1,000%.
What he did is worse than what 99% of the people did on January 6th.
By the way, that's not even that big of a shocking statement.
It's not.
I'm going to get clipped. That's why I repeated it for the degenerates at Media Matters that probably enjoyed the video.
Yeah.
So if you a big shout out to the guys over at Valuetainment. They did a great job. Oh, and just so Charlie doesn't have to say it, in the words of Tucker Carlson, hey, Media Matters for America, go fuck yourselves. I just want to start with that. That's just a Tucker Carlson quote. Guys, we got about 2 minutes left. We're going to wrap up in a minute. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in on this Monday. Once again, I hope everybody is doing well in the Northeast with all the storms we are having. Guys, hit the thumbs up button on the way out the door. I got one more message from Charlie Kirk that Charlie said at Turning Point that I want you guys all to remember, because I deal with a lot of this crap here in New York, with a lot of people disliking me because I say what I believe. I say what I believe, and I don't apologize for demanding greatness from my political leaders. I don't apologize for that. And a lot of people tell me that I should pump the brakes, that I shouldn't criticize people so much. And well, Charlie's got something he wants to tell you about that. Check this out.
Only in America is a story like Turning Point USA possible. Only in America is it possible to say, you know what, I don't like the way the country is going, and to do something about it. And throughout the years, people have said, oh, Turning Point, you guys, you're too loud. Why don't you just sit down and obey? I don't know about you, but I think the people that have been running the conservative movement the last couple decades should just go be liberals, because that's what they actually are, and leave the conservative movement and allow us real conservatives to be in charge. And the numbers speak for themselves.
And he's absolutely right. When people tell you to shut up, when people tell you to wait your turn, that you're being too loud, that you don't know what you're talking about, say it louder. Say it louder, say it more often. I'm not going to tell you to get in these people's faces, because I'm not Maxine Waters and I'm not a terrorist. But what I am going to tell you is, guys, go to their town halls. Press these people. Make them move to the right. We know they're not going to be more right-wing ideologically. They like being a part of the uniparty. Make them vote more right-wing because they're afraid of losing their jobs. Keep pushing these people. Don't ever stop. Keep on moving and grooving. Hit the thumbs up button. Share the video. Make sure you're following this page. Stay tuned for Matter of Fact coming up next. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Stay loud, guys.